improving in all areas of life, like business, your fitness, you go to the gym, you eat healthy, you overcome your anxiety, you talk to girls. All this lifestyle is what gave me hope, right? Because I'm from a small town. Everybody thinks average, everybody is average. The most people that are adults are overweight and unhappy and have a shitty job. And what do you think like your life would be like? Of course your life would be shit.
Welcome back to another episode of Mighty Brad's podcast, guys. If you're new here, hit the subscribe button and leave us a comment down below letting us know what you think about the conversation. Dennis, welcome to the show.
Hey, I'm happy to be here.
Hey, I'm glad you're here, man. So I discovered your YouTube channel a little while ago, and I really love the videos you put out because your stuff is so authentic to a point that like I can't even really compare you to most other YouTubers because you're going on there and you essentially, correct me if I'm wrong, but you're just expressing how you feel, what your journey is through life, and you're just raw, just like how it is. You're not no filter on it, no trying to paint something that it's not. You're just, this is how my life is and I want to share this. And I think that's a beautiful thing because it's a hard thing to do, I would assume. Going on camera and just expressing your life, you know what I mean? Because a lot of people like to keep that stuff to themselves. But, props to you, man, for being able to share all that. So, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I think that's correct. I try to be as authentic as I can because, I mean, there are so many YouTubers and everybody is only, I think, trying to show off. And also on Instagram, everybody only shows themselves from their best side. And on some level, everybody knows it's not real. But on the other hand, people always think, okay, this is how I have to be and this is the lifestyle I have to achieve. And it also, I think, leaves a false impression how life and how a journey towards success really looks like. And I want to document my journey towards success. I'm not super successful right now, but I want to be successful. I think we all want to be. And yes, I want to document my journey as authentically as I can. So yeah, this is my maybe mission with my channel.
Yeah, that's a beautiful thing, man. Yeah, I was watching through the first video you posted where you were kind of running down the overview of what your channel was going to be like, and you're like, yeah, I'm not like the 19-year-old guy who has all these Lamborghinis and I'm making millions of dollars right now. I'm just some guy right now who's trying to improve my life, and I'm going to document the journey and bring you guys along with me. I think that's a great way to get people to connect with you as well. So in an earlier I don't remember how long ago you posted it, but you posted like almost an hour long video on like the self-improvement guide.
Oh, yes. Yes, I remember.
I was thinking we could break that down a little bit and walk that through with people. You want to do that?
Sure. Yeah, we can do that.
So I wrote down, because you broke it into a few different parts. So the first part was, the video is titled The Self-Improvement Guide. So if you guys are watching, you want to check that out, go check it out on Dennis's channel. I'll link it down below. The first and second parts were society's paradigm and your new paradigm. Can you go in depth with that?
Yes, of course. So, can you see my camera right now?
Yeah, there you go.
Basically, there's so first, this is what I learned from my mentor, that basically there's a paradigm that we learn from society, that who we are is who we are, and that is very static. And because this is what we are taught, right? So, hey, you are who you are, don't change. You are that type of person, you are that confident person, you are maybe a shy person. And this, I mean, if we believe this paradigm and we look at the world through this paradigm, we believe, okay, we are who we are and we can't change, because this is what it communicates, right? You are the confident guy, so or you are the shy guy, so I can't be the confident guy, right? So change isn't possible with this paradigm. And what we have to do is, because this isn't correct, we have to change our paradigm from this static paradigm to a more, what's the word?
A more fluent and like
diverse fluent and diverse. Just because we might be shy, for example, it doesn't mean that we can't become confident. Like to name an example. And this paradigm is a way better way to look at the world. because our actions, our experience later define our reality and how what we believe.
Yeah.
Is
No,
it clear what I mean?
yeah, no, I understand. Yeah, I think something that so many people struggle with is that way of thinking, oh, I am shy and I can't change it. And that's like that locks you down in life. And it's kind of like being in any negative state and saying, okay, this is where I am and I can never change it. And it's just it's a destructive way of living, because it's, if you let that stick with you, then that's going to ruin like literally the rest of your life. And deep down, nobody really wants that. Um, so yeah, moving on a little bit. The next one is how our identity is built, and then the one after that is how you can create your new identity.
So yeah, basically, how our identity is built, or these points are very like they go together, right? So the four steps are, if we take some action, for example, or we do something, we say something, we usually get feedback from the world, right? And this feedback um, creates a belief about ourselves or where our role in this society is. And this belief, if we repeat this belief and we have this belief often enough, this creates this yeah, maybe you can call it belief, creates a belief, and enough all of our beliefs create in our identity, right? So who we are and where we stand in society, etc. And the interesting thing is that a belief or an experience isn't only experience like in the present, in the now, but also if we think about the past, our past experience, but also visualize the future. So you might have it if you had like a negative experience in class or wherever, and then you think about it again and again and again. This beliefs get stronger and stronger because you experienced it once, but also you experience it again when you thought about it all the time. So yeah.
Right. Yeah. Like if you have one bad experience and then you constantly think about that, it's more likely to happen again, because that is what you are creating in your mind. So then it creates that within your reality, and you see more of that. Um, in terms of the identity thing, I was just thinking, I made a video the other day and I was talking about how, so many of us, our beliefs about life, ourselves, um, some of our feelings, why we think this way, a lot of the times it comes from our experiences, and it also comes from other people. So like there's a lot of cases where, your parents told you this, or your teacher told you this, or your friends told you this, so now you believe it, and now you think that way, and now you feel that way about that certain topic. But what we don't realize is those are kind of conditioned thoughts and ways of thinking from other people. So then you think about it and you think, this isn't really originating from me. This isn't what I truly believe about it. This isn't how I truly think. This isn't how I truly feel about it. And so what I kind of urge people to do, and what I've done for myself, is take a step back and think about everything you believe, why you feel this way about this person, and think, is it because I think that, or did it come from someone else? Because I think so much of the time our life can be so much dictated by what other people want for us, because we listen to everyone else, but we never listen to ourselves.
Yeah, yeah, I absolutely agree. Um, and I think also the beliefs from other people or what other people say about us, it's like as I said before, because of it's an experience that we make. Okay, the person told us, okay, we are not good at a language, for example, and this slowly creates the belief, right? So yeah, I just can agree.
Yeah. Setting boundaries and the emotional state of others. But let's start with setting boundaries.
Oh yes, setting boundaries is an important topic, um, because this is what you told, right? So other people tell us who we are or what we should do, and they treat us in a certain way. And the thing is, I think society taught us that we have to accept everything, how people treat us, and that we can't set boundaries, that we are not allowed to set boundaries because this would be rude. And this, I think, this led to many people being such a pleaser. You know what a pleaser is?
Yeah.
Yeah. So for the listeners, maybe pleasing is when you say yes, even though you mean no. For example, somebody asks you, hey, can you help me with this? And you don't have time because you want to work or you have to do something. But you still say yes because you don't want to disappoint somebody else or you don't want to be rude. So you say yes, even though you mean no. Or sometimes you say no, even though you mean yes. So basically not being true to yourself. And yeah, it's the only solution for this is setting boundaries and being true to yourself and also building or having some self-respect for yourself. Because if you don't have time, um, then it's totally fine to say no.
Absolutely. I think, yeah, a lot of us have this problem where it is rude if you say no to someone 1 or 2 times. But like you just said, it's a self-respect thing. And some people think it's a selfish thing, like, oh, you're selfish because you didn't help me out. But, fundamentally, like deep down, all of us are selfish to a degree. Like, I need to do what's best for me, you need to do what's best for you, and everyone needs to do what's best for themselves. Because if you go throughout your entire life being that people pleaser and never doing anything for yourself, and always, every single time someone asks you to do something, even though you don't have time and you need to work or you need to go to the gym, you need to do this thing, you always say yes, you're taking time away from yourself and from your mental health. So if your mental health isn't there, I mean, how much are you really going to be able to help other people in the first place? So if you take the time to work on yourself, and maybe what they're asking you to do and help them out with, maybe it can wait. So maybe you can be like, oh, I don't have time right now, maybe we can do it at 7 tonight. And so after you actually continue with your routine and you get to go to the gym, you get to get your work done, then you're going to be in a better mental space to help them. You're going to be in, because you'll be in the mental space of like, all right, I got my stuff done. Now I'm helping them. Whereas if you just said yes before and skipped out on your stuff, then while you're helping them, you're going to be thinking to yourself, oh, I still need to get my work done. I still need to go to the gym. And so, yeah, it'll always be better if you help yourself and then you're also able to help other people after you get your stuff done.
Yeah. And sometimes it's even okay to not help the other person at all. And this might sound selfish, but if you simply don't want to do something, maybe not, for example, with what would be a good example? Mm, or let's say, okay, a salesperson or a friend who's into sales he wants to talk to you because you know, okay, he wants to sell you something, right? And you tell him, okay, I don't have time, and this doesn't, and you don't. Who says that you have to talk to him? Because you have to value your time and you have to decide what you do with your time. I don't think it's selfish to say no to people. I still have problems with it. Of course, I'm still working on it to not please. But yeah, as you said, okay, sometimes you can prefer your own stuff and then help people later. But sometimes it's also okay to not help people at all if you don't want to, and if it's not a thing that you like to do.
No, I completely agree. And yeah, it's a journey to, because it's a journey to not try to please people anymore, because as when we grow up, we're kind of conditioned by society to ultimately care about what other people think and not question anything. Like, automatically, if someone's in a position of authority, we have to do whatever they say. We can't question anything they say. Um, and I think questioning things in certain scenarios is very important just to live a good life, because if you take what everybody else says, is that you think everything anyone says about you is true 100% of the time, then you're going to neglect how you actually feel about yourself. Because and so constructive criticism, like someone saying, oh, you did this wrong, like sometimes that can be a good thing, and you can be like, oh yeah, I did do that wrong, I probably shouldn't do that again. But sometimes people say something about you or make a point that isn't actually what happened, or you didn't actually do something wrong, and it was just their fault of the way they're thinking about the situation or how they're dealing with it. And so you shouldn't take what anyone says as so. Well, I think a quote I heard was, don't take advice. Wait, what was it? Don't take advice from someone that, I can't remember what it is, but it was something about not taking advice from people who aren't doing as well as you, or I don't really want to frame it like that. They're not doing anything for themselves. So how can they help you, especially when they're bringing that negative energy towards you?
Yeah, totally. Um, to that point, maybe like I've listened to this to my mentor lately. What he told me is, um, I can't remember everything, but he said it's 3 points that you that a person needs. So you should listen to his advice. He should like have a track record. He should have I think, a track record like multiple times, so not only once, because once it could be luck, right? And the third thing, I can't remember the third thing, but like it's okay to listen to people who aren't where we want to be, but we also have to look at, okay, how much do we value their opinion, right? And I think what you said is also like similar to the topic of boundaries, because if somebody says something about us, or is maybe angry at us, or yells at us, whatever, and we often take this too hard. Um, but this is also what I learned from another mentor, that the emotional states and the what other people say about us has nothing to do with us, but everything to do with them. Because if they are angry, it's because something triggered them. We might trigger them but this doesn't mean that we are bad or evil or anything. But often, if somebody yells at us, this makes us very um, self-conscious. Is this the right word?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Like sometimes you can feel like
Question
you did.
ourselves, doubt ourselves because somebody else is angry, because somebody else has a problem with you. But this doesn't mean it's you who is the problem, but it's their problem, right?
Right. Yeah, you can sometimes feel like, oh, it's my fault, but oh wait,
Yeah.
maybe I didn't do anything wrong, because sometimes people are conditioned a certain way because of an experience they had, and whatever you said or did might have reminded them a little bit of that, and maybe you did do something wrong, but you might not you don't necessarily you haven't necessarily did something wrong, so you can't always blame yourself. And and yeah, setting boundaries as a whole, it's you have to be able to say, hey, um, don't like for if you work at like a certain time every day and you say to your friend, hey, don't contact me at this time. Oh, don't contact you at this time. Like some people will take it that way, but no, you just don't call me then because I'm busy. I'm working right now. You could call me after when I'm done at this time, whatever, right? And so yeah, and boundaries with friendships, um, with work and whatever you're doing for work, people you're in contact with, whether you have a boss or whether you have clients, um, romantic relationships, every relationship ever, boundaries are important because and also I think sometimes it comes to points where we forget to verbally state boundaries, so then someone does something and then it offends us or it makes us angry, and then we blame the other person. But how can you blame the other person if you never told them not to do it in the first place?
Yeah, totally.
So
Totally agree.
and yeah, the emotional state of others, it's yeah, I mean, we covered that basically.
Yeah.
And then the last one is stop living in the past, which is one I really like.
Um, yes. So if we, because this is goes to the first point, I think, to the static identity, or the more fluent identity, right? If we live in the past, and if we live through the stories of our past, we relive all the experiences that we had in the past, and we're not allowing ourselves to make new experiences that lead to new beliefs, that lead to a new identity and a new character, right? So if we only, yeah, it's basic the main gist, I would say. If we live in the past, we relive the same experiences, and we then assume that the same things will happen to us again. And because you probably know, if we are um what's the word, if we assume something will happen, then it's likely that it will happen again, right?
Right. Yeah.
Self-fulfilling prophecy. Yeah, it's self-fulfilling
Yeah.
prophecy.
Self-fulfilling prophecy. There you.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
So best example, if we had some negative experience in the past, which made us very shy at the moment, we still live in that in the past. We currently also act very shy, and this leads to certain reactions from other people, right? People treat you differently when you are shy than when you are very confident and outgoing. So
Yeah.
So if you live in the past, you can't make new experiences that will change your identity, right?
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's like having, let's say you had a friend 5 years ago and you're not friends anymore because they did something wrong or whatever they did, right? And it's you thinking right now in this day, 5 years later, I hate them. They're a horrible person because they did this one thing. But it's been 5 years. You have no idea if they could have completely changed as a person. But you're still judging them based on the past self that quite literally might not exist anymore.
Absolutely. The past self of your friend and the past self of you, right?
Yeah, and then yeah, like you said before about sticking and staying in the emotions that we felt those years ago. You know, I an exercise that I don't know if I learned it from someone else, but what I've learned is this is how you can tell if you're over something or not from the past. If you think back at that situation, at what that person did or said, and in this moment, when you think about it, you feel angry, you feel sad, whatever the emotion was, right?
Yeah.
But and then so that means you're not over it, right? Because you're still feeling that.
Yes.
And you neglected it and didn't give your time to heal from that situation. But if you can look back at that situation, what that person did 5 years ago, and when you think about it, you you don't get emotional about it. You're just like, oh yeah, I remember that happened, but you don't get angry or sad or whatever the emotion was. You can confidently think and say to yourself, I forgave them. I'm over it.
Yes. Yes. That's yeah, that's also what I heard. Like you can only, or you realize when you have truly forgiven a person once you don't feel the um resentment for
Yes.
those people. If you think about the actions, and yeah,
Yeah, because and it's been a really helpful exercise in my life because I remember a few years ago when someone did me wrong and then like at the time it really hurt me. But I can think back at it now and not be emotional about it. And it's like, you know, the the ability that we're able to forgive people like that, I think it's a vital aspect of life because if you can't forgive the people in your past and the situations that happened, you're never going to be able to truly live in the moment and truly move on from it so that you can have new and better experiences.
yeah, totally. And if we also always relive these experiences and it makes us angry again, I mean, this anger is pretty unhealthy, and this is why forgiving other people is mainly a thing that we do for ourselves.
Yeah, because when you think about that person in that negative light continually, you ultimately the only person you're hurting is yourself because that person who did you wrong 5 years ago, they're most likely not thinking about you right now and about that situation. It's only hurting you. So talk to me. So you have a mentor or two. How did you meet them?
Oh yeah, I paid a lot of money. Uh, um, so one it was on YouTube. And I followed him for several years, and he was also documenting his journey. And he is German, is only in German, and he's not like active anymore. But I followed him for so many years, and he was also starting a business and documenting it, and it was cool. It was so inspirational. And yes, he had like a training or a program where he um, taught people to what he did to become successful. Yes, and I went on this training. And the other person is I started a little business with a friend. Um, and we had to learn how to sell. So we bought like a sales coaching from him. And he was a great mentor, like a lot of the mental stuff and about the emotion, setting boundaries, because this is also very important in sales. Yes, and I also learned some sales stuff in the sales coaching.
Oh, that's cool. So what's I don't know if you want to go too in depth with it or tell the viewers completely about it. Because I know sometimes I like to keep like that stuff to myself. But what's business like nowadays? What are you up to?
Um, so you mean the business I'm doing right now, or
Yeah.
is it like a
Well,
phrase
and
or?
in the past too, if you want to explain that, if there
Oh,
was something different.
okay, so I'm 23 right now at the moment, and I started with a friend. when I was 20, I think. Yes, we were 20, but yeah, we thought we were good. We thought we were also like marketing, etc. Because we had some books and we had some watched some videos about copywriting, whatever, right? And but there were no sales and there were no customers, so we bought several trainings and like coachings about sales. And yes, once we like learned okay how to have a sales talk and how you have to structure such a talk, and we trained, we became better at sales, then like we made the first money, and the first month were awesome. Like in the first month we made, like where we started making money, like we had several months where we made nothing, but the first month where we made money was like 10K. The second month, it was in November 2020, I think, but I can't remember, it was 20K. And then in December, no, October 20K, November 10K, and December again zero, and then for a couple months zero again. So yeah, this was like some first experiences in business. We made some money. Like I think in general we made like 60K in some month, which is not much for a business, but for the first steps, I guess it's okay. Yeah, we had the first office, and this was cool. Um, yeah, but then the business failed basically. We made some experience. It was awesome. It was cool to learn something, but it wasn't sustainable. Like it wasn't income that was like sustainable. So yeah, then we did some other stuff, like not really doesn't make sense to mention, that just little stuff that failed again and again. And yeah, and I think when was it? 2021. This was interesting. I lived in Vienna because I couldn't live with my parents anymore, and I wanted to be more free and have a better social life, whatever. Right. In 2021, I had to move back into my parents' place because I was totally broke. I spent all my money on coaches and trainings, and yes, I learned a lot, but I had debt of 50,000 euros and had no income anymore because the business wasn't working. So I had to move back with my parents and had to get rid of my debt. And this is what I did in the last year, 2022, like work, some like everything, bullshit jobs and construction, um, every bullshit job you can imagine. And then at the end of the year, I had some money together. And then I started a new business, an e-commerce business. Yeah, you probably know it, in selling on Amazon. This is what I started.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, I think I mean, yeah, you've been through a lot of struggles with that, businesses failing, losing money, being in debt, but then I think your journey so far is a great example for people, and people can take into account. All right, maybe I should try. And the great thing about you sharing your story is people can see and say, okay, maybe I should try to avoid going into debt. I can avoid some of the mistakes he made. I can do some of the things that helped him in this area, and then kind of generate that together. Um, and yeah, having all those experiences and then getting where you are now and being in debt and coming out and having the businesses fail and come out and still try and still keep going. And that's props to you for that, because I think a lot of people, one business fails or one thing doesn't go as to plan, and then the people are just like, all right, I give up now.
Yeah, yeah, because I think most people don't want it bad enough, and I don't want to say I'm super motivated, I'm super awesome or whatever, but for me, there's like no alternative. A normal job, I hate it. Like this is would be the worst for me. Like a boss who tells me what to do, and then I have to wake up when he tells me, and I have to work what he says, right? And this is the worst for me. So I don't want to do it. So there's no alternative for me. So if this fails again, I will try something else. I simply won't stop because there's no alternative for me. And yeah.
Right. And yeah, I mean, there's so many, this, especially with the internet nowadays, there's so many more opportunities for different business routes and everything. How did you even get into the self-improvement stuff?
Um, okay, this is an interesting story. Or maybe it's like a very common story. When I was in school, um, 16, 17-year old, like, um, I was like, I never had the best social skills. I was shy, so I haven't had many friends. And there were also like not many girls interested in me. And yeah, when you turn 16, 17 or older, this sucks if you have not that many girls. And what also bothered me my whole life is that my family never had a lot of money. And if you're a student or like what do you say, student or pupil, right? You also don't have a lot of money. So this were the two main issues in my life, like the social skills and the money part. So I started watching YouTube videos about this one mentor that I told you earlier about, who shared his business story, and I was interested in this. He was selling on Amazon, for example. I was interested in that and learning about this stuff. I was learning about marketing, watching marketing videos, and I also um, watched this whole pickup stuff. Maybe you know this?
Yeah, yeah, like the old guys who used to do like the pickup artists with like girls and stuff.
Yes,
That
yes,
stuff.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mainly watched RC. Maybe you know RC. Um, you don't you know them?
Sounds familiar. I don't know. Maybe if I saw a picture.
Okay, yes, basically the dating company who just posted YouTube videos. And it wasn't simply the watching the videos, but the whole lifestyle of improving in all areas of life, like business, your fitness, you go to the gym, you eat healthy, you overcome your anxiety, you talk to girls. All this lifestyle is what gave me hope, right? Because I'm from a small town. Everybody thinks average, everybody is average. The most people that are adults are overweight and unhappy and have a shitty job. And what what do you think like your life would be like? Of course, your life would be shit. And without the internet and without this self improvement stuff that I found on the internet, I don't know what I would have done or would have happened to me. Like, it probably helped me a lot or maybe saved my life. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I feel that, man, because I think about the same thing sometimes. If I didn't find these channels on YouTube when I was depressed, and tried the self improvement stuff, like where would I be right now? I don't think I would be in a very good place.
Hmm. And this is, by the way, also what I want to do with my channel. So I found these people and they were so motivating to me and they lifted me out of this helpless state, or they gave me hope, and like they created a fire inside of myself. Okay, I want to work. Okay, this is awesome. I want to work on my body, my finance, etc. And if I can be this person or this channel and to help one guy or one girl maybe to achieve something or to have hope that it is possible and that they start working on themselves, this would be awesome. This is like one of my goals with the channel, right?
Yeah, no, me too. But it's weird because like I never like growing up and stuff, like,
Mm.
and even shortly before I started the channel and started doing, because I had a podcast with my friend before I started my own channel too. But before that, like I never thought I would be posting any videos on YouTube, doing anything on social media. I didn't, just wasn't in like my mind. I was like, it wasn't even like a thing like, all right, maybe I'll do this. It wasn't even in my mind. But once we started that, I was like, I really enjoy doing this.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
So I saw in a few of your past videos, of you documenting your journey. It seems as though you were struggling a little bit with, getting some work done and stuff like that because of, some internal feelings of, depression and just sadness and stuff like that. Do you want to go in depth with that a little bit?
Oh yeah, yeah, we can talk about that. Um, so what exactly do you want to know?
Um, just what you're going through, and I mean, how you think, just yeah, the situation, and then we could hopefully some of what we talk about can help people watching.
Okay, so I think it was like 2 weeks ago. I felt like extremely, maybe depressed is the right word, or extremely sad, and I not sad, but apathetic. Is this the right word? Apathetic.
Mhm.
And yeah, I'm not sure what it is or what it was, but I maybe it was either burnout or depression. I don't know. I haven't seen a doctor or some professional this, so I only can make assumptions. But um, it was like really a weird weird state I was in, because usually I was pretty, like all the years before, I was pretty motivated to do stuff and to work and to hustle. And if you ask my friends, for example, that know me, they would, most of them told me, okay, you're pretty hard worker or you're pretty disciplined. And then since a couple of weeks and maybe also a little before, it's like I can't really, it's weird. I can't really work discipline on something. Like it's like my brain shuts down and I just can't work. I want to work. I had my to-do list. I think I told also said in the video, I had my to-do list. I planned everything. I just had to execute. Just a little bit discipline, not even discipline. It's just okay. It was the beginning of the day. That usually you are disciplined, right? It's not hard work, and I couldn't do it. And I don't really know what it was. It's like maybe I pressured myself too much for too long, or that I'm not good enough, because I think this is what might could have caused it. Like the low self-esteem, low sense of self-worth, that I believe I'm only worth something if I do something, if I work, if I have a 10 out of 10 body, if I'm meditating in the morning, only sleep 5 hours, right? Like do all of this. And I think some of the stuff or the expectations I had on myself is just not realistic. And I pressured myself too much, maybe. And at some point, my body told me, okay, I can't do this anymore. And
Yeah.
yeah.
No, I mean, I can relate to that a lot, man. I mean, yeah, I mean, there's sometimes it doesn't happen often, but sometimes there'll be like I don't know, the day will go fine, and then nighttime, like the evening, and then I just start to feel bad, and I just start to feel like I can't really get anything done. I don't have any motivation to do anything. But and yeah, I mean, what you said about you have to get 5 hours of sleep, you have to meditate every day, this and that. That's a trap that I fell into, and it seems as though you have too. Is with when you get into the self improvement stuff, is sometimes you think you need to do it all, and you have to do it all in one day. And it took me because I used to be like I used to write down the 5, 10 things I need to do. I need to bike today. I need to go to the gym today. I need to meditate. I need to do all these things, right? And if I missed a few of them, I wouldn't feel good enough. I'd be like, oh, I missed that today. How am I ever going to be better, right? But
Yeah.
having that mindset is going, even though you're doing the actions, it's going to prevent you from um, becoming better mentally, at least, because you're always holding yourself back. And so what I've come to realize is all those habits are good, but you can't expect to get all of them done every single day, because you need sleep. You need enough sleep. I know if I get like for me personally, if I get less than like 8 hours of sleep, like I feel like shit. And I started to realize like, yeah, I want to meditate. Yeah, I want to do this. But if I don't get every single one of them done in one day, that's okay. And so like sometimes I'll just pick like, I don't know, maybe I'll go to the gym today and I'll go biking, whatever it is. And then aside from that, I'll do some work, and then maybe at night I'll hang out with my girlfriend, or I'll hang out with my friends, and not so focused and like I need to get those 10 things done, and then that takes up your entire day. And the weird thing about it is sometimes even if you still get to the end of the day and you feel like you haven't done enough. I'm sure I don't know if you've had experience with that.
Yeah, of course. Like, okay, it wasn't good enough. I did at all my points, but I still could have done more. Yes. I know I totally agree on the point. Um, the thing is, I don't know how you solve this problem, like entirely, because it's one thing to say, okay, yeah, it's okay if I don't do enough. But on the other hand, you still have for example, the low self-esteem, and my worth, for example, is connected to the work, right? So, and it's not like I just can turn this off, right?
Right. Yeah. It's definitely something that takes a lot of time.
Yeah.
Um, and I think so much a part of that of the feeling as though we need to get this amount of work done today in order to feel good enough. I think that goes so much along with like how society programs us, especially as a man, because and especially online in like the self improvement communities, a lot of these guys are saying, you know, you have to be this way, and like you said before, you have to have this type of body. you have to do this and have this amount of money in order for you to be successful, or for order the girls to like you, or whatever it is, right? And so it leaves you never feeling good enough because you're like, I always need to do more. And I think a lot in society we're kind of programmed as men for being valued for what we can provide. And when I say that, I think a lot of people think just with like money, oh, like providing for like a family or something. Not just that, like providing for everything, like providing value in all aspects of life. Like you, like people are only going to talk to you because you make them feel this way, or because you do this thing for them, or you help them out with this. And I think, I mean, it's just I think it gets too much sometimes, and I think, and a lot of I heard a Joe Rogan quick clip of him saying that most men live quiet lives of desperation, and so like, we're always working and we're always doing this stuff, but we never seem to get any. I don't know if validation is the right word, but we never seem to be fulfilled in what we're doing. It's like there's always something next to conquer. There's always something else you have to get done. There's always someone else you need to help, and it's never enough. That's the point. It's like we're programmed to think that it's never enough. But I mean, the reality is, I mean, the way I try to think about it now is like, yeah, I need to get work done, and I enjoy doing the work that I'm doing and whatever it is, right? And I want to improve my life, so I'm doing these habits. But you know, the, there's only so much we can do in one day. We every single one of us has 24 hours in the day, and some of that consists of sleep, and also, and rest is an important thing too, because if we don't rest at all, and rest doesn't just mean sleep. Like resting means like being able to just exist and sit down and like just like relax for a little while, which I know is a problem that I even still deal with. Sometimes I'll try to relax, but I'm not really relaxing because I'm sitting there like thinking, what am I going to do after this? What do I have to get done tomorrow? And stuff like that. You know what I mean? It's just, it's kind of the way we've been programmed. And yeah, I mean, I think trying to learn how to kind of break that paradigm a little bit of that we need to be, we need to we need to do everything to be fulfilled, but even at the end of the day, it still doesn't seem to leave us fulfilled. I think about it like, at the end of the day, all of us are going to die one day. Whatever you believe about, whether you have religious beliefs or what happens after you die, or you think nothing happens, whatever it is, if you assume that you have one life, it's like, I mean, I'm just going to circle back. I mean, we only have so much time in a day, and if you don't get every single thing done, there's nothing wrong with that, man, because it's life is life, and life isn't. I don't think life is just about working. I think we need to learn to be able to be in the present moment and just exist. Because it's a skill that I've developed a little bit, is like being able to go outside and go for a walk on a nice sunny day and not have to think about what I have to get done after I'm done with it or whatever, and just be in the moment and just enjoy it. Because and like wintertime and stuff like that, like a lot of the some of the times, like those different time periods can make things harder, because if it's, usually when it's really cold out, or I don't know what the weather's like by you, but when it's really cold out and it's really cloudy, it's easier for you to be in like not as good of a mood and not feel as though you can get as much done and stuff like that. And the weather does affect your mood and stuff to a degree. But yeah, I mean, I think it's all about changing, like, yeah, like you said in like the self-improvement course, so that like changing the paradigm of how you believe everything about yourself and the world.
Um, Maybe one thing that I want to add, or because the thing is, for example, the importance of resting, you mentioned it, and this is what I have to learn right now. I have to go through right now. If you don't allow yourself to rest or to recharge the batteries, um, at some point, like you hit the wall, like you can't anymore, like your body can't anymore. Like maybe this is what I experience right now, and the thing is, this the mood I'm in right now, or the last couple of weeks were the most unproductive weeks I've ever had, because you simply can't work, and um, yeah, and I think it's also about changing your maybe your attitude towards work, and where the work maybe comes from, where the action comes from. Comes it from a position of okay, I have to do it because I'm not valuable if I don't do it, or am I working on myself? Am I going to the gym? Am I building a business because I love myself, because I'm valuable, and because I want my life to be in a great and better position? And yeah, also accept, okay, or show yourself so much self-love and self-respect that, okay, if I don't want to work, if I really don't want to work right now, and if I really don't, this goes against everything that we learn in self-improvement. Like, if you really don't want to go to the gym, and we usually are very disciplined, and we're simply done, okay, allow yourself to don't go. Or at some point at the weekend, if you're eating clean the whole week or the whole month, you really want to enjoy pizza with friends or with a girlfriend, okay, if you really want to do it, then eat a pizza.
Right.
This because this is the sign of self-love. Okay, I want to do something. Okay, then I simply do it. Or I want to buy some cool clothes because I think it's awesome and I like to wear them and I feel good when I wear them. Okay, I allow myself to spend some money and not save all my money, because there's also a problem. I had all the money I had because I had the in my childhood the lack of the money, right, with my parents. I saved everything, put it in my business, and I never allowed myself to buy anything that I wanted to buy. But this is also like a sign of self-hate. So why don't allow yourself to buy some cool stuff that you want to buy if you work hard, if you had a good month, if you make
Right.
a lot of revenue with your business?
Yeah, I think I think sometimes, and being disciplined and working hard, all of that is very important. But I think sometimes you can get so involved in it that it takes the fun out of life. I think you
Yeah.
need to balance it, and you still need to be able to have fun, and so that when you're out with your friends, you're not thinking, oh, I need to deal with this tomorrow, and I need to figure out this with my business, and thinking about that the entire time, instead of being able to take that hour or two when you're out to dinner with your friends and actually just be in the moment and enjoy yourselves and talk about whatever. You know what I mean? Um,
Mhm.
so yeah, and yeah, I mean, sometimes it can get to the point where it takes the fun out of life, and if you take the fun out of life, then it's like, what are you even doing it for? And and what you said before about coming from the place of am I doing this because I love myself and I love doing it, or am I doing it because I'm not going to feel good enough if I don't do it? Yeah, shifting that. I love what you said about that, and because if you're coming from the place of I'm doing it because I love it and I really want to do it and I really want to accomplish this, I think you're going to be able to produce a lot better work and a lot better results because you're coming from that more positive place. I mean, it's like a known law of the universe that like when you're coming from the positive place rather than the negative place, you're always gonna get more stuff done and feel better about life. And of course, duality is like a part of life. Sometimes you're gonna feel good, sometimes you're gonna feel bad. You're not gonna feel happy 24/7, and that's okay because that's a part of the human experience. And so, and if you were happy 24/7, you would probably get bored of it,
Yeah, you
and
would
you
know
would
what
want to feel different
happiness is.
emotions.
Yeah, yeah, you would know what happiness is if you're only happy, right?
Yeah,
If you don't
no,
know what sadness is, how you would, how can you experience happiness?
exactly. I love what you just said about that. These things only exist because it has an opposite.
Yeah.
So many things in life have an opposite. It's like yeah, happiness doesn't exist without sadness, and you know, hot doesn't exist without cold, and all these different things. And it's just a part of life, and accepting that and being like, okay, yeah, sometimes I'm not gonna feel amazing, and sometimes I will feel amazing. And you can work to optimize. I mean, that's what self improvement is all about. Optimizing how can I feel positive and feel better more than I feel negative. You know what I mean? And so it's a great thing. But it's I think with anything you can kind of get too stuck and too ingrained in something that it might become a little bit more destructive than helpful. And I think sometimes there's certain paths to self improvement that can do that.
Yeah, absolutely. When it becomes a duty and you have to do something, and you don't do it anymore because you love yourself and you want yourself to be your life in a better position. Um, because I think this is awesome what you said. Like it takes the fun away. And I mean, why are we doing all this? Why are we into self improvement? Because we want our lives to be more fun. Because we think, okay, our lives could be better and more awesome and easier. And this is why we go through the hard things and the things that might not seem very funny at the moment, to have in the long term the most fun in life.
Right. And I mean that's why I mean that's why people want to make more money. That's why I want to make more money. It's like because I want to have more fun. I want to be able to travel more. Of course, well, people are making money so they can survive and so they can provide for a family if they have one and stuff like that. But you know, it's like I want to make a lot of money because I want to travel. I want to travel the world before I die. I want to see all these different places and experience um, all the restaurants they have to offer, all the people I can meet, and all that stuff, right? And so, and, and so that's another thing that maybe we can touch upon is
Mhm.
some people, some people believe that if you're making more than the average person, you're selfish and there's something wrong with you. You know what I mean? Like some people are like, oh, because you're making more money, like you're like you're not giving it to everyone else and you're using it for yourself. But I also think, and it's not like if I had like millions of dollars, I would definitely help other people out. I wouldn't use all of it for myself. But
Mm.
I think, and of course, it would be nice if everybody could have like a lot of money so they could travel and do all these different things. It's just not the reality of like the way the system works now. But what's your opinion on that? Of like people thinking that if you make a certain amount of money, you're a bad person.
I think it's bullshit. Like, um, it's similar to the thing we touched upon earlier. Uh, like the emotional states of others and also the statement of others that they say about us has nothing to do with us. If just because they believe, okay, we are selfish because we want to make more money, doesn't mean we are selfish. It just means, okay, we want to work on ourselves and we want to enjoy our life. But it doesn't mean
Yeah.
we are selfish.
Yeah. And I also think a lot of those cases, like people deep down would want the same thing. You know what I mean? Like, who doesn't want to have a lot of money so that they can do more things and not have to worry about the bills for this? Who wouldn't want that, right? It's just I think sometimes, and this is just like all areas of life. Um, I think there's two types of people. There's the person that looks at someone who's maybe has a better body than them, or is making more money, or is doing a little bit better, and they look at them and say, they're a bad person. Oh, I can't believe they're doing that, whatever. And it's coming from the state of lack of and insecurity. And they're like, oh, I don't like that person. And then there's also the other person who looks at someone who has a better body than them or is making more money. And they say, hmm, how can I do this too? How can I make myself better so that I can be on their level or be above them? And so that's what I've adopted is looking at people that are better than me and analyzing them and like, all right, let's say someone, let's use the example of confidence. If someone's more confident than me,
Mhm.
what can I look at in their life and what they're doing so that I can apply that to my life and I can be that too. And so I think everybody should adopt that mindset because if you do, then you're always going to get better. And instead of looking at someone else is better than you and thinking there's something wrong with them when there's something wrong with yourself.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think why most people don't do this is because first of all, it hurts. And it also it's much harder than just saying, okay, he's just an asshole. He has lots of money
Yeah.
because he's an asshole. I'm not an asshole, so I don't have a lot of money. This is easier. Uh, this is the easy way out, but I mean, only if we take the responsibility and say, okay, I'm responsible for where I am right now, financially and with my relationship, with my health, whatever. Then we can change things. And if we look at other people and say, okay, I let myself be inspired by him. Yeah, it might hurt that he's more confident than I am, even though I'm working on it much more. Yeah, it might hurt a bit. Uh, but what should I do? Should I complain or should I use it as inspiration?
Right. Exactly. Dennis, I really appreciate you coming on today. It's been a great conversation.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Yeah, of course. Where can people check you out?
Well, people can find me. Yes, so people can find me on YouTube. My YouTube channel is just named like me, Dennis Bettinger, and also on Instagram. It's also Dennis dot and then Bettinger. Yeah.
All right. Sounds good. All right. We'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.